And welcome everyone to our webinar on the Series 55 gate valve. My name is Sawyer Heidesch and I will be your presenter today. I'm our Midwest Territory Manager and I've been with the company for about 2.5 years now. Along with me today is our Eastern US Sales Manager, Kent Culbertson, and he'll be jumping in later on in the presentation to give a truly great testament to our product and customer satisfaction. So let's get into AVK. AVK is privately owned, and our CEO, Niels Kier, his father, O. Valdemar Kier, started the company in 1941. The company is named after his father, AVK, and in June of 1970, Niels and his father became business partners. American AVK is a part of the International AVK Holding Group. AVK Holding headquarters is located in Galten, Denmark. And AVK is one of the largest manufacturers of gate valves and fire hydrants in the world, with over 4,300 employees and 120 companies worldwide. Now, we started in San Francisco in 1985, and in early 1990 we moved to Fresno, California, and then in 2007 we built our new 180,000 square foot state-of-the-art manufacturing facility on 25 acres located in Minden, Nevada, about 40 miles south of Reno, Nevada. All of our products are manufactured in our Minden location, which is an ISO 9001 and 14001 certified facility. Now, the 9001 ensures we follow quality improvement process to ensure a high level of quality from the minute we take your order all the way to the delivery of our products. And 14001 is a standard related to environmental management to help organizations minimize how their operations negatively affect the environment. So we're very proud of these certifications. And besides Minden, we have 2 distribution centers in Omaha and in Nashville. This allows delivery of in-stock products to anywhere in the United States within 24 to 48 hours. And an average of 6-day delivery for those items that need to be manufactured. Now, for the reason we're all here, the AVK Series 55 large diameter gate valve. Now, gate valves are one of the most commonly used valves in water distribution systems and are suitable for both above ground and below ground installation. These valves are used for on-off services only and are installed in pipelines as isolating valves. That also means that they should not be used as regulating valves. Now, the valve stem of the gate valve has to turn multiple times to go from open to closed positions. This slow operation prevents water hammer effects that can be caused by a quick closing valve. This also means that if you need a valve to open fast or close quickly in emergency conditions or to control flow, a gate valve is not the best choice. Now, gate valves are often used when minimum pressure loss and a full bore is needed. When fully open, a typical gate valve has no obstruction in the flow path, resulting in very low head loss. And this design also makes it possible to use a pipe cleaning pig, as you can see in the photo. These gate valves are cast with ductile iron and designed to meet the requirements of AWWA C515. There are only 2 types of gate valves, the OSNY meaning outside screw-in yoke and NRS meaning non-rising stem, and we're happy to provide both of these options. Now, if you look at your OSNY, you can see the difference there in the photo. That stem actually carries the wedge up and that stem shoots above that hand wheel. So if you walk into your room or your pump or your lift station, wherever you may have your valve, you can see whether or not that valve is opened or closed based on the orientation of that stem. Where your non-rising stem, you can see the wedge is still in the bottom, and that wedge rides up and down on the stem inside the valve body and bonnet. As we discussed earlier, the Series 55 valve bodies and bonnets are made from ductile iron. The gland flange, wrench nut, and wedge core are also made from ductile iron. The standard bolting is 316 stainless steel. These valves are fusion bonded epoxy coated to the C550 standard, and the standard stem on the 30 and 36-inch valve is made of 431 stainless steel and 430F stainless steel on the 18 through 24-inch valves. When equipped with our standard 430 series stainless steel stems and an EPDM wedge, these gate valves are NSF 61 and NSF 372 approved. So we seat test these at a rated working pressure of 250 psi to start with. They are then shell tested to twice that at 500 psi. Although this valve is rated for a working pressure of 250 psi, most waterworks applications like your city main or rural water system operate at 50 to 80 psi. So in addition to seat testing this valve at the rated working pressure, we perform an additional seat test at the 30 psi to ensure that the valve maintains a leak-tight seal at low pressures. So looking at our testing, here's our overview. First, the gate valve is open and the valve is filled with water to eliminate any air. Then the gate valve is closed and one side is pressurized to the desired testing PSI, which as we talked about was 30 PSI, and then checked for leaks. Then the valve is cycled, opened, and closed and tested at 30 PSI in the opposite direction. The process is performed again at the 250 psi. To pass these tests, there must be no leakage at high or low pressures. Finally, the valve is opened and then subjected to a 500 psi shell test. To pass this, no leakage through the valve shell or sealed surfaces is allowed. So if anyone would be concerned about the valves leaking from stems, gaskets, or bolts, this should put their mind at ease that every single one of our valves is thoroughly tested with water at the factory before shipment, and through our serial number traceability, we can tell you all of the data regarding that test as well. The standard wedge is an EPDM rubber with a ductile iron core. It is resistant to sunlight, ozone, chlorine, chloramine, and other oxidizers, and it also resistant to rubber set tearing and cuts, as well as it does not impart any rubber taste or odor to the water. Now your optional coating on these wedges is an NBR. NBR stands for nitrile butadiene rubber and is sometimes referred to as Buna-N or simply nitrile. NBR is not intended for use in a drinking water system as it can impart that rubber taste to your water. However, it is resistant to mild acids, petroleum-based oils, greases, hydrocarbons, and organic compounds that can sometimes be found in wastewater. Just like EPDM, it does have good resistance to rubber set, tearing, and cuts, but it is not resistant to long-term exposure to sunlight or ozone, and it does not stand up well to disinfectants. Here at AVK, we strive to provide solutions. So when needing a Series 55, be sure to get with your territory manager and we'll help you determine what rubber will be best suited for you. The bronze wedge nut is located at the top of the ductile iron core of the wedge. The surrounding ductile iron does not allow for deformation of the bronze under heavy compression loads, such as over-torquing the valve in the closed direction. This allows it to withstand much higher closing torques than are required by the AWWA C515. The bonnet gasket on all our gate valves is an O-ring type gasket that wraps around each bonnet bolt. For any of you car gurus, imagine the head gasket on your engine block, and those things are obviously designed to make sure that oil stays in the engine. So, same concept. This design not only provides an excellent high-pressure seal against leaks, but also protects each bonnet bolt from the corrosive effects of water from inside or outside of the valve. The position of the gasket is maintained under pressure by the bonnet bolts and a groove that is cast into the underside of the bonnet. The standard rubber material for the gasket is NBR to resist permeation from organic compounds in the surrounding soil. The standard bolting for our gate valve bonnets is 316 stainless steel, as we mentioned before. The bonnet bolts are a hexagon-shaped socket head that require an Allen wrench to install and remove. They are threaded into a tapped hole that has been drilled into the valve body. So traditionally, you may see nuts and bolts holding a bonnet to the valve body, but with our valves, it's just a bolt threaded into a tapped hole. The head of each bonnet bolt is then sunk into a recess that is cast into the top outer edge of the bonnet. After the bolts have been installed and tightened, a hot melt glue is applied over each bolt head to further protect the head of the bonnet from corrosion and soil. This design completely isolates the bonnet bolts from any contact with water from inside or outside of the valve. So if many years from now the valve is dug up and disassembled, the bonnet bolts would still look brand new. And with that being said, I'm now going to invite our Eastern U.S. sales manager, Kent Culbertson, to give a unique little story about the durability of our bolting system. Keep in mind that although these are not Series 55 valves, the bolting system is identical. So Kent, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sawyer. Well, this is a story about 2012. An AVK was contacted by a utility northwest of Minneapolis, an area with extremely hot soil. The inquiry was to see if AVK had a gate valve rebuild kit with new O-rings. The utility had dug up several 1992 AVK valves, in this case 6-inch, for a street widening project. To their disbelief, the valves, which they had forgot about, were in great shape 20 years later. We learned that the utility had forgotten about the valves, which was, again, very unusual because prior to this, a valve installed in the 90s in this region had usually lasted about 4 to 6 years. We did a little bit of research. What made it even more amazing was AVK had not standardized on stainless steel bolting until 1998. So these 1992 valves had standard zinc-plated bonnet bolts that were, again, in like new condition. So I traveled to Minnesota, inspected the valves, and surprised the utility with a new shipment of 2013 AVK valves so that we could ship the 92 models 20 years old back to the factory for inspection and testing. Upon arrival in Minden at the factory, we disassembled the valves, inspected and tested all the components, all the bonnet bolts, O-rings, gaskets, and wedge rubber, and the stem were in like new condition. As we say, with AVK, expect solutions, not just products. Back to you, Sawyer.
Hey, Kent, that's still one of my favorite stories, really touching on our customer satisfaction and the durability and quality of our products. So I appreciate you jumping in to give us the story. Now, the NRS gate valves are available from 18 to 36 inches in diameter, while the OS&Y valves range from 18 through 24 inch. On OS&Y valves, the handwheel comes standard and are available as an option for NRS. A mounting flange along with a keyed stem are standard equipment on all Series 55 gate valves so that a gearbox or electric actuator may be installed, and both the mounting flange and the stem are standard dimensions. So the AVK Series 55 valve bodies are available with flange by flange, MJ by MJ, and MJ by flange end connections. Here's our product range for the flange by flange, and as you can see, the bypass kits are available on the 18 through 24 for the flange by flange, but not the 30 and 36. The Series 55 flange by flange valves comply with the bolting pattern required for Class 150 flange standards, and these flanges are flat-faced with no raised sealing surfaces. For the MJ by MJ, our product range is from 18 to 24 and a 30 and 36. And as you can see, the waterway is either nominal or oversized based on your size. So we've mentioned bypass systems a few times now. So what is the purpose of a bypass? The primary purpose is to open a smaller valve to equalize the pressure on both sides of the larger valve before opening, which makes it easier to open that larger valve. It can also be used to control the filling rate of a dry pipeline downstream of the large gate valve. The slow filling allows enough time for air to escape from the dry pipeline to reduce the chance of damage to that line that can be caused by filling the line too fast. Now, that smaller valve that is used will typically be either our Series 45 or our Series 65. And as we mentioned previously, the Series 55 18 through 24 inch flange by flange valves meet the standard for the ASME lay lengths. However, the short lay length specified in the ASME standard does not allow enough room between the wedge cavity and the end flanges of the body to include integral bypass ports. So we develop spools that can be bolted to your pipe flange ends to enable a bypass around the Series 55 valve. Now, that optional bypass can be installed by us or can be ordered from us as a kit. That kit consists of 2 bypass spools that can be bolted to a flange Series 55 gate valve to result in a flange by flange, MJ by flange, or an MJ by MJ configuration. And it includes the bypass elbows, the gate valve, the MJ gasket kits for the small valve, and all required gaskets and hardware. Your hardware is available as a zinc plated, a 304, or a 316 fasteners. Now, since the lay length of all manufacturers' flange by flange valves up through 24 is dictated by a standard, our bypass kit will fit any manufacturer's 18 through 24 inch flange by flange gate valve. Now, the lay length of the 30 and 36 inch valves is not dictated by a standard. So that makes it impossible for us or any manufacturer to create a universal bypass kit for the 30 and 36 inch valves. So we developed the Series 55, 30, and 36 valves with integral bypass ports. Now, these ports can be blanked off or machined to mount an optional bypass system. The optional bypass system for these large valves is only available installed by us. If you need a 30-inch valve without a bypass system, the 30-inch flange by flange valve is available in the shorter lay length without the bypass ports. And the Series 55 carries a 10-year warranty. Here you can also see a special order Series 55 that included a triple bypass system. We're very happy to provide a solution for such a unique request from a customer. Now, I also invite you to check out AmericanAVK.com, where you can get all of the data sheets and information on not only our Series 55, but our full range of products has all of our brochures and data information for any engineering firms looking to put in specs, as well as instructional videos on field maintenance or general upkeep of your fire hydrants and repairs on your valves. We're really striving to create some content that's really helpful for everyone out in the field. We're also have a series or a AVK certified program that we're very proud of. It's a certification program very similar to what we go through as territory managers. And it's a breakdown on not just our products, but the waterworks industry in general. So it's really great for whether you are an engineering firm or a contractor, distributor, city, whoever you may be that you've got something to do with waterworks. We've got a certification that could really help you learn a few things and, possibly educate some of your newer staff members who aren't familiar with the waterworks products. And again, my contact information, Sawyer Heidesch with American AVK. I appreciate everyone's time today. I hope you've learned something, and please reach out to me or any of the territory managers in your area if you have any further questions. Thank you.